On what I've done, I'm a San Antonio College alumni. I went there when I was 20 years old, almost 21. I was telling some of the students before we started this meeting that I got here to San Antonio, Texas, with no experience. Of course, it was the first time I was in an American system, like education system, and I didn't speak any English. So it was just very basic. So it was a challenge. It was a big deal for me, but I knew what I wanted to do. And thanks to Trisha and Dr. Lowe, who were very patient with me. I'm pretty sure that Dr. Lowe, then he can tell some stories. It was super funny how we couldn't communicate it. We were always having conflict and trouble. Like I turned in my homework. No, it's not here. And I was saying a word, but he would understand different and I couldn't understand what it was hilarious. Anyways, fast forward now, when I was about to graduate, because I also went to Texas A&M after that, I asked Professor Odom if I could please get a credential to interview former Mexican President Felipe Calderon. He was visiting Trinity University at the time. So she just gave me the green light and she said, you can, I mean, if you can get it, do it. You can use her name or whatever you need. So with the Ranger, as a reporter for the Ranger, I got the credential to interview the former Mexican president. I mean, we're talking about a big opportunity here. And that day, the news director from Univision was there with one of his best journalists, is Antonio Guillen. Now he's my co-worker. After that, he reached out to me, and thanks to Trish and conversation there, I had the opportunity to be part of their program as an intern. I finished my internship. I asked my boss at the time, like inside Univision, if I could please just help them. Like I could be doing whatever they wanted. It could be under production, behind the camera, or with news. I was never doing stories or anything. I was actually just doing everything that was technical with cameras. So after a year, I got my freelancer position. I graduated. I started as a freelancer and then got a different part-time job. After that, I got my part-time job and then finally a full-time. It's been 6 years already with the company, exactly 5 with the title of entertainment reporter. I have the opportunity to work to maintain my image and my work in the middle where I can do hard news, hard stories, breaking news, but as well conduct shows, do entertainment, and be a TV host, not only a reporter, and also learned a lot of production, stuff behind cameras, audio, a little bit of everything. I have done as well weather and tons of stuff. So that's how it all started. That's what I do now. And yeah, do you have any questions so far, Trish?
Um, we have some people who want to do, they are bilingual and they want to do some traveling and vacation and fun. Is it, can you have a family, a boyfriend, all of that? Can you still do all of that with this kind of job?
Something very important, and this is something I've always say, because people on the street ask, how do you do it? How do you do that? How are you able to travel and how are you able to like do all this social life and then continue with your career and family and stuff? So first of all, that's why I do entertainment and that's why I prefer entertainment. But it's a lifestyle. I always respond to everyone with that. It's a lifestyle because there's no schedule when you work in this business, in this profession. I used to have the 3 a.m. morning show. So I was up at 1 a.m. so I could do my makeup and hair and be ready on the street by 3 a.m. because we go live at 4. So we were finding stories around the street. So that's breaking news for the Primera Hora show. And then as well, I've done the weekend newscast. I've had the Cuéntame Más, that's a network show. I've been like all over the place trying to get stories as well, like in Mexico and here and there. So it's definitely a lifestyle. You can do everything. You just have to find like a way to do it. It's difficult, honestly. Like if you're a woman, I think it's a little bit harder because you and there's a time in your life that you're gonna have to make a decision because your boyfriend is gonna start asking you like, I want to get married, I want to have kids, or I don't want you to continue doing that because he knows your lifestyle. So you have to decide, like, do you want a partner that wants to be with you along the way and support your dream, or do you want to settle and just stay there? Because you can do both of them. I mean, both of them are totally fine. You can always be so good that you can get the title of a correspondent and you can do stories in your area and your state, or you can just like continue, move on, and follow your dream. I mean, this is very personal, very, very personal. This is not how you're supposed to do it, but I'm just sharing what I've done. And I think I'm in that position right now. So that's why I'm sharing it.
Thank you for opening up. That was very polite of you. So, does anybody want to open up their mic and ask a question or write something in the chat? There's lots of stuff. How about your family vacation while they're thinking of a question? Your family vacation to Paris that turned into the most breaking news story.
Yes, so I always stay en la conferencia. Sí, yeah. Sorry, that was my boss. He was just like sneaking in what I was doing. Um, so yes, it's not the first time that I go on vacation or I'm traveling or doing something and I find a story. So I don't know if you guys remember the shooting in Austin recently. So I was like in Sixth Street at a bar, but I was not in the condition to actually start reporting because it was already like 2 a.m. in the morning. So I let go of that because no, it was not good. So sometimes you have to make decisions. And I've been also in different places where I see this person and he's doing something amazing. The story that you saw of this woman inside like a um tiny little house made of cardboard. So that's a street in Mexico City where I saw these people that they were all just laying there, and people would just walk by, and police officers, and no one would do anything. So I started interviewing them, and it's a drug place for people, and there's a 12-year old kid that was high on meth and doing this with his mom. So it was very impressive for me. So we stopped everything that we were doing and we went to get equipment because Univision is everywhere, then at least like in Latin America, and and we went back. So we end up doing this crazy Emmy winning story, and then we follow up to a rehabilitation center. We got a confession from another underage kid. That's why we blurred his face. We also show that in the video, where he confessed to me for the first time that he actually killed someone because he was trying to fight for a car, an abandoned car, and they were very cold. So there was this a guy inside the car, and he wanted to get in the car, and he wouldn't let him. So they ended up fighting, and he killed him. So imagine being a reporter, and you're in that situation. You're in Mexico City. You don't know anyone. Then you get that confession, and then people from rehabilitation center and his mentors are like, "Wow, wait, what?" So it's a whole situation, and that's how you start finding stories, like they're everywhere, and that's what happened in Paris. So I was on vacation with my boyfriend and my cousins. One of my cousins went to Paris to study there, and so we arrived on Sunday, 7 p.m. We went to the Eiffel Tower. We took a few photos, and then we went back just to rest because we were getting up very early Monday morning so we could go to Museo del Louvre. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Anyways, we started walking the museum, and after like 4 or 5 hours, I was tired, tired. I was wearing the most uncomfortable shoes ever, but they were so cute and I hated. And I just wanted the photos over there, but I was exhausted. So I asked him, like, you know what? Let's just go back so we can change. We can have something to eat because we hadn't eaten anything. And my cousin, Luis, he just says, you know what? We already walked like miles. Let's just walk two more corners because I actually did a mistake and we went the wrong way. Notre Dame is there. Let's just go in. Okay, whatever. Yeah, we'll go eat and change after that. So we walked into the cathedral. We took some photos outside. And when I am actually right in front of the priest that was giving the mass, as soon as I started recording, it's impressive because I have that video. I started recording 3 seconds after that, an alarm went off. And of course, I was confused. I don't understand any French. I don't know what the alarm was saying. A few moments later, there was police officers like pushing everyone outside. The priest wouldn't move from the stand where he was giving the mass, and I was just watching, observing, and my boyfriend was already panicking and almost ruined everything, but he was like, no, we have to go, we have to leave the place. I mean, I don't know what happened. And I said, maybe someone stole something, or because there were a tiny stores inside the cathedral of souvenirs. And then he said, no, I mean, we have to go. And I said, you know what, I'm not moving. I haven't stopped recording, I'm not moving. So as they were walking out, I would just stay there, and like people were just running around and I would stay there still. So he said, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to start recording. And thank God we did, because when we walked out, it was a chaos. And it's the craziest experience I've ever lived. So what happened is that the cathedral, Notre Dame, was on fire. It was burning down. We were there for at least 20 minutes and we were seeing how everything was getting, like, the fire was bigger and bigger. And the worst, the armada of the French armada arrived. They were trying to control everything. The firefighters, they didn't even know like how to accommodate, how to park or how to get there. And with all the tourists there, thousands and thousands of people were there. So it was a moment where, well, everyone was watching and everyone was impressed by what was in front of our eyes. I was asking for Wi-Fi to a place that was right in front of the cathedral. Like, I need Wi-Fi as soon as possible. I need your hotspot. So there was this guy that he was trying to record, and I was like, no, I need your hotspot like now. And I was calling my producer. Notre Dame is on fire. Like, wait, what? Yes, it's on fire. Oh, yes. Actually, CNN started showing those images. I'm here. I'm here. I was inside the cathedral. Listen to me. And then he was like all of the newsroom was just watching the news, but they wouldn't paying attention to what I was actually saying until they were like, hold on, wait, what? Yes, I'm here. I'm here. I was inside. I have the video. Like, let's move. Before everyone arrived, like the security, and they started pushing people away, I was able to send everything back to the US, like to my people. Immediately my editor, he did a minute story, like immediately, just to push on everywhere and all the platforms, like it's burning down. And it was crazy, but I was the first reporter in the world to get the images and to be live at the place. We were two, a girl from Argentina, but she was all the way in the back already going outside the cathedral, and she was a press reporter. And since I was a TV reporter, we had a bit more of opportunity to share those images. So everything you were seeing and watching online, those images were what I recorded that time from my cousins and everyone around, and I was able to get the ones from inside. So I stayed there. It ended up being a 36-hour coverage. Of course, I didn't change my tennis shoes. Of course, I didn't eat. And 2 days after, Univision sent a correspondent a team with a satellite truck and with all the equipment. They brought me clothes and makeup and lighting and everything. But for 36 hours, I opened the biggest newscast that Univision has just with the phone. So I downloaded Skype. My boyfriend was my tripod, and we just started recording like that. Very nice people around me shared me like a blanket and water, headphones, hotspot, and everything I needed to make it work. After that, we did an agreement with Fox News. So that was the first time I did network coverage for a general market, I mean, for English station. So I did both. And it was amazing. It was amazing just like to switch from Spanish then to English and try to be as good as I was in Spanish and English. Of course, I understood that I was a Spanish reporter. And so it happened and it was crazy. I ended up staying in Paris for 5 days. My vacation was for 7 days. And on Friday, I was able to rest. When I got to Amsterdam, they started asking me for stories for newspapers and interviews. And now I was being interviewed by other stations. So it was crazy. It was like a whole week of craziness. It was very impressive. It was an opportunity to actually feel and do and take advantage of what you have. It might be a tragedy for a lot for but for us reporters it's like winning the Super Bowl. I mean, that happens not very often, and being at the right time and the right place, you need to take action and of course grab those opportunities. That's it.
Ah, lovely. You have some questions in the chat. I don't know if you can see them, if you want to answer them.
Of
Or
course. A ver. Hola, I have two questions. What is an important tip or thing that you would advise your younger self starting to be a reputation that you are in now? What is a story that you would love to do that you haven't accomplished yet? Good questions. Okay. What I would advise my younger self, it's to do exactly what I did. I didn't know that I was actually taking a good decision because I was not going out. I was avoiding everything that distracted me from my goal. I was working twice and more than the rest because I had to think in Spanish, translate in English, and I was already having an opportunity from the department to make it work. Like, it's not your great work, it's not the best, but we're giving you the opportunity to show us the opposite and actually like learn. So I had to make it work. I had to do it because I really wanted to get my degree and I really wanted to pass my classes. So I was just all day in the newsroom. Like, I was always there. I was always asking questions. I think it would have been better if I had the if I had the opportunity to learn English. I think that's something that I would love that I had done before getting here. That's the only thing, because the rest I didn't know I could even do it. I mean, I'm a party girl. I get distracted by everything. I'm always all about and around, and there for those 2 years I was just doing that. Then the next 2 years I was just doing that and working and working and working and doing what the rest was not doing. And maybe they were better than me, but I was getting experience and I was actually fighting. And something that I advise everyone is, for some reason, when you start growing you start building insecurities, and now you see things impossible. When I was like 20 and 21, who would have thought that I could get an interview with a former Mexican president? Like, why would I get a credential to get with those amazing reporters to interview the president? Like, how? Because I didn't think it was impossible. I was just, I'm gonna get it. I need a credential to get that interview. And now, nowadays, that I've been like maybe more doubting myself, I think of that mindset that I had back then. And I encourage every one of you to continue doing it. Don't ever think that you cannot do it. Trisha told me that I was not going to be able to be in the communication class because I didn't know any English. And here I am. And she actually took the time after that to stop me and say, Caro, like, I think that you have a lot of thoughts around and you don't know what you want to do. So she actually asked me the tough questions, and I was able to identify that I wanted to be a reporter. She knew it before I did. And when we met, journalism and me, we exploded. So yeah, that's something that I mean, I'm happy that I did when I was younger, and I would like for you to do the same. Now, a story that I would love to do it and I haven't accomplished yet. Ooh, that's a tough question because I've been blessed to do a lot in 5 years. The best artists, the hardest stories, but something I haven't accomplished yet is move from market. I think I'm ready to jump, and I've done network shows already. I'm actually in auditioning and in castings right now. That's why I haven't been a lot in TV. So that's what I haven't done yet, and that's what I'm looking for. Student is interested in doing what you're doing. What skills do you recommend they pick along the way besides journalism? Public relations, marketing, what else? You're always you're going to be better as much as you know, like, to use cameras, how to edit, start learning Premiere or Newscutter, but I prefer Premiere. That's something you can start doing right now. So whenever you get there, you are already familiar with that program and you start doing your own things because they're gonna stop you. I mean, news directors, I don't want to talk about bad about them, and producers and your team, but when you have an assignments editor and they don't assign you what you want, and you know you have the possibility to do it, and you have the contact and you have everything you need to make the story work, you're going to be on yourself, girl. So it's better for you to just come back with the package already done that they're going to air than to ask for permission. I've been always a rebel on that, and so far I haven't been in trouble yet. I mean, it's work. That's why I've been growing. So I totally recommend you to start working on Premiere, to start asking the questions. Just work on your personality. Don't be ashamed. Deal with everything. Don't listen to the rest, and just focus on what you want to get all the information you need, and do your stories. I mean, even not having a story is a story. Even no information is information, and that's something that you have to understand. So that's something I totally recommend. Do you usually report in Spanish? What are the biggest blogs and advantages to being bilingual? I always report in Spanish. I work for a Spanish station. I never report in English. Sometimes I do for radio because I also do commercials. And advantages are many. What blocks me is sometimes the insecurity that I know that I have an accent, that I'm actually now proud of it, and that there are many words and things I would love to say, but sometimes I don't have enough learning in this language for me to, like, to actually express it. That's sometimes what blocks me. And the advantages of being bilingual are many. You're always going to be on top of the rest if you know Spanish and English, especially living in San Antonio or in Texas, well, in the US, because you can switch. If you ask a question in Spanish and they say, I don't speak Spanish, okay, English. And you start working. And if you want to do a story, for example, I did a breaking news on this apartment that a guy that was crazy, literally, he was crazy. He was responsible of the fire because they kicked him out of the apartment complex. So the neighbor, he was there just like, I'm the neighbor walking in the street. Like, he lives in front of me. I told management and they wouldn't listen to me. So that's my story immediately. I'm getting that's the story from a person that it's there and was there. So I started asking all the questions live in English, and then I was just doing the translation for my market in Spanish. So there's no stopping you to get the story. Meeting celebrities. Do you ever feel starstruck doing an interview? How do you deal with that? Actually, you know what? The thing about celebrities is that you have to be very careful. Of course, you get like excited, like, oh my God, this is, I don't know, J Balvin. But you have to always remember that you also have a title and you are a journalist. So I always prefer, like, I'm always happy to be honest. Like, I'm always happy, and I always try to see the positive thing in everything. And I know that they are very already like, oh, like this with journalists, because, well, you're talking about his private life, and some of them, almost everyone, has bad experience with us. But with me, I mean, it's not the case. I try to make it as comfortable as possible, have a conversation beforehand. I always study very well the artist or any person, it could be anyone, but with them, what the thing about artists is they arrive with a huge entourage. And it's not the artist who says no, it's the manager, it's whoever is taking care of him, is whoever is doing his agenda. I mean, that's the real people that you deal with. One, you have him in the chair, everything is good. So I think there's only been one, Emmanuel. This is an artist, Mexican artist. It's like the oldest version of Luis Miguel, but for some reason I'm obsessed with him. And he came to Cuéntame Más, and I was just panicking. Like, I couldn't. He sat on the chair, and I was like, oh my God, I'm a fan. The first thing you cannot do. And I was totally open with him. He was just cracking up and laughing. And then we went to the interview. So yeah, it happens. But just give yourself that position to respect yourself, because you want also, like, for them to respect you. Like, you don't want them to feel like, this fan, this groupie. Like, no, not at all. First you do your story, then you take the photos, and then you take the selfies, and then you ask the stupid questions. So you have to be careful with that when meeting celebrities. And they always talk between them. That's another thing I've learned with them, especially with their managers. So they contact, like, the friend, like, what about this show, what about this girl, and they give you heads up or green light or red flag. Your English is really good. Oh, thank you. I have been insecure because of my accent when I speak Spanish, so I relate. Oh yeah, be proud of it. Sometimes I just feel like, you know what, it's sexier. What I just feel like, you know what, that's what makes me. And if you understand, good. If not, just ask me and I'll repeat myself.
I
So no
take it.
more
That's good.
insecurities here. Yes. Just feel like it's different. You're gonna have all eyes on you, like, who is she? So that's an advantage. Mm. What are the things that you have learned while being around other experienced journalists that have impacted you positively? Positively, all of them. I've learned from everyone, and things I've learned is that everyone, when you are in journalism, I remember in class, I was told, this is how you write. This is how you're supposed to write. This is how you are supposed to share the story. This is how you are supposed to edit, or this is the way the photo has to look. The world is changing, and generations are evolving, and platforms are different. Now in our station, we changed our way of reporting. Literally last year and till the date, we've been in classes and learning a new way of reporting. So imagine people that have been here for 30 years reporting in the same style. Now they have to change. And actually, that's the way I used to report when I started. And they changed my reporting style to the old version. And now I'm going back to what I had. And I've learned that every journalist has its unique way of sharing story, like the way they, even the way they dressed, the words they used, um how they share the stories, the type of stories they work on, and stuff like that. Like, you know, who loves to be an investigator, a reporter, or who loves to be more superficial, or who loves to be like in the medicine field. So from all of them, it's always good to learn what makes them the best. Like, why are you the best in hard news stories? And ask the questions. I think I've learned that it's been tough. I mean, it's not an easy. I know you have conflict and there's jealousy and in every type of work, but for some reason in journalism and especially in TV, when there's only one chair, there's only one newscast, and there can only be one anchor. I mean, things get crazy. So it's good to not take anything personal and don't focus on what the other person is doing. Focus on what you are doing and make it the greatest, the best. And that's something that I've learned. Like, you focus on your things and forget about the rest. Work with them as a team when you need it. Ask the questions. Don't be ashamed to ask them, because some of them, they don't want to share it. And that's sad, because I think like we should all learn together. Like, why are you scared of me? So that's the way I see it. And I always love to share whatever I do. Like, if you want to know how I did it, I'll tell you. If you want my contact, I'll give it to you. Because you know what? I mean, there's enough sun for everyone to shine. So that's something that I can get from all the journalists. How did you improve so much your English? Any tips to improve it? I'm the same position as when I started, because I talk a lot, and there's a lot of people that don't speak Spanish, so I had to. And with practice, practice and practice and practice, and that's the way I learned it. I mean, I started. I prefer listening to books than reading them, and I changed. I stopped listening in Spanish and started listening in English, and started also buying like actual physical book and reading on in English, so I could practice. That's the only thing. I think it's just with that. When did you when you did freelance work, what were some challenges that you faced? All of them, because I had no idea what I was doing, but I had the attitude and I just wanted to do it. So I was always behind everyone. It was like a pain in the ass for everyone, because I was like running with the computer. Like, can you show me how do I cut? How do I cross this solve from this image to this image? And asking these questions. And of course, when I was recording, I would always like practice and practice and do it again. And that's when I started learning how to project and how to talk and how to present and how to report. Um, so yeah, the challenges, honestly, everything was a challenge back then. What are some steps that you do, strategies when preparing for an interview? I am a Sagittarius. I don't know if there's any Saggy here. You would relate with me that we love to procrastinate and we love to work under pressure and leave everything for the last moment. So, uh, when I do prepare with time, what I like to do is, first of all, you need to learn from your interviewee. Like, if I'm doing a one on one interview, who are you? What have you done? Why am I doing this interview to you? Like, you need to prepare and consume all the information you found about this person. I also as well watch all the interviews that he has, like the person has. I watch all the interviews, I go to the social media, I start searching and searching and searching, because once you are there, you feel very confident. If they respond to a question with an important thing, you can continue with the conversation and change your questions. So you have to be prepared. That's the most important thing. And when you're working on a story rather than an interview, it's, what do you want to share? I always have three different ways to share a story. So, okay, this is one one way I could do the story, or should I add like few people to interview? Should I get facts? Should I go back to that? Like, you pick. And when you start writing, that I think that's the most difficult part of doing a package or story, is the writing part. You start deciding and coming up with the end result. So yeah, that's how basically I prepare. If you want to go like more deep, like getting up or stuff like that, or is that enough?
No, 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 that was enough.
Okay. ¿Alguien más? Any other question?
Yeah, I guess I'll go again. I know you started off like with journalism at first, and you still do that. But like as far as like on the entertainment side, is that something that you always knew you wanted to do, or were those just opportunities that kind of opened up along the way for you?
You know what? I'm gonna be honest with you guys, and that's what I love to share uh, with the students, because in school and in the media and we grow up learning that you go here or you go here, and they make you decide which way are you going to take, like what path, because it's very different. I remember I was actually giving a class to another group of students, not from SAG, but my news director was there with me, and I used her as an example. When I got here, she told me, you need to decide. You cannot be doing news stories and you cannot be doing entertainment. If you're going to stay in entertainment, there's no way you're stepping in the newsroom. So I think I'm the greatest example to show everyone that it is possible, because I started doing news. Then I did weather. Then I moved to breaking news because that's not my position, but I was actually covering for a coworker that was in maternity leave, and then I end up in the show for a year when it was only 2 months, and I've had a entertainment network show, and I've done community shows and everything, but I always try to be a little bit serious in entertainment, not falling into farandula. That's how we call it in Spanish, when you do all this like chismes and you start losing respect as a journalist. But as well in news, I don't go too hard on the news. Like I just present the hard news. I just present the breaking story. I'm not as the real breaking news reporters. There's a huge difference on that. You get the information, but I'm not like going all the way like them. So I can also do my entertainment part. And for that, um, so when you are there, like when I was in Notre Dame, I was also doing the Entertainment Network show. But in that situation, they immediately changed my title to international news reporter for Univision. So they know that you can do it. They don't want you, but you can always find a way. And I'm telling you, I've always been a rebel inside the station, and not following the rules, but you can find a way. There's people that cannot do it because they're already way too into their beat, and that's something I've been working on since I started. Because if I get an opportunity in news, I might move to news. But if I get an opportunity in entertainment, I might move to entertainment. So I prefer personally entertainment. And actually, when I work in news stories, my news stories are human interest. And I'm being very honest with you guys. I don't like hard news. I'll say it out loud. And I do the stories. I love writing, and it's very important. That's what news is. But with my personality and the way I see things, we always need that small story that shares a positive thing. Like we already have 25 minutes of bad things. So I want to take even tragedies into now what's positive. Like, okay, she died, but now the family did this amazing nonprofit organization to help people like them. And I don't know what else, the drug addicts, for example. So it's super sad, but we don't stop there. We find that there are many places, and we give you a phone number where you can call so you can get help. And that's what I love to do in news. I'm more into the human interest stories and to share these amazing, crazy, um, like stories that people has to share. So yeah,
Thank you for that answer.
we have a minute. Dr. Lowe, why are you sleeping? Am I boring or you're not
Oh
understanding what I'm
no, no, no. I was
saying?
too much waiting.
On the spot. Just kidding. Okay, anything else?
I think there's one more question.
Of course. What are strong requirements that Spanish stations look into Spanish? You have to be fluent to Spanish. And yeah, well, that's the most important thing. Like you know your community, you know that Spanish stations mostly focus, for example, on immigrants and all those topics that actually affect directly the Hispanic community. But first of all, like what you need to be um, to get the job is that you are very fluent in Spanish, that you can actually talk. And I mean, the rest doesn't matter. If you see that reporters in Hispanic stations are very different, the way they dress compared to the general market reporters or anchors, but that's just like a cultural thing. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Is your entertainment show like Entertainment Tonight type? The entertainment show was for it was a contract of a year. We extended at 6 months because it was actually good, but now we don't have it anymore. Cuéntame más. But it was um, from 4 to 5 p.m. And what we did is just talk about movies and artists and personal, more about their personal lives. So that's what we share, not like lifestyle and stuff like that. Mostly having actually guests in the show and going to concerts and festivals and that.
There was one more question. Is there a difference between working in a Spanish station versus an American station? But I don't think you've worked at an American station yet,
I
have
haven't, so I don't know. I have no idea. What I know from my coworkers is that um, maybe it's like bigger, there are more opportunities because here, I mean, the Spanish market in the United States, it's only Univision, Telemundo, and Estrella TV. There's three, and there are definitely more opportunities in English stations, way more.
would you hop?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if they will want me with this accent, but why not?
Did we answer this one, Sergio? What's the most enjoyable story coverage you've ever done?
That would be very selfish from my end to just choose a story, but I think it depends. If it was like a shock story, it was Notre Dame. If it was like a whoa, oh my God, I'm going crazy, it was a black jaguar, white tiger story. I don't know if you know, guys know about that place where they rescue tigers. It's in Mexico City. So Kim Kardashian was there, the Rolling Stones were there, and I was there. How? I have no idea. I just started sending messages all over the place on Instagram, and I'm telling you, I didn't see why not. Now I would doubt myself to actually get it, but it happened. So that was a story that I was going crazy because I love animals. I'm an animal lover, like a different level. I'm obsessed with him. And a sad story, and like, whoa, was the time when this guy confessed to me that he actually killed someone, and see the struggle and the way they were living and how selfish we are that we don't help people, and we like in Mexico we say don't give him money because he's gonna use it for drugs. And it's like, yes, they're using it for drugs, but yes, they are in need. Like at least give food or something. It's just a reminder of how grateful you have to be for everything you have. So that was like a whoa story. And a very fun one. Ah, there's many fun stories, like many of them, but I think it will be a paranormal activity story I did in a haunted hotel because it was crazy. I love ghost stories and I love being scared. So it was amazing. It was impressive to see that part and to actually be searching for that thing or that demon. So it was amazing. I couldn't sleep for like 2 days, but it was pretty cool.
Okay. Is there anything, or you've given such wonderful advice and a little glimpse into what you do, and I really appreciate that. Is there anything that we've left off that you want to tell them or share with them?
Of course. I think that this is again very personal, and I've been very honest with you all the way. I don't want to sound like, oh, just very professional. And no, I want to relate to you guys. And don't let go of opportunities. Don't just try to stay with, try to get along and to be around people that is better than you. That's something I would like to share with you. Like, don't judge your professors or don't judge whoever is over you. Like, actually get closer to them and learn from them. It's impressive how you start getting all that information like a sponge, and you learn. Like, don't go along with the rest of group that is not doing what you want to do. Like, that's something very important. Like, you have to make a decision. You have to wake up every day with that decision. I think that's very important, and that's something that I've been missing. So that's something that I really want to work on. So it will be something that we will be doing together as a group, if because I've done it before, and it's the most important thing for you to become better. Something else is that, why are you different than the rest? How many are in your classroom? How many of you? Remember, there's one position in that newspaper, there's one position in that channel, in that TV station. Why are you better than the rest? What are you doing that makes you extraordinary? What's your extra? Why should I pick you instead of the other one? So that's up to you. Think about it, meditate on that, and start working on whatever. It could be anything. I think that's more like a life advice. But if you go to work in the media or you decide to work in business, it's the same. And what else I would like to share? Mm, I don't know. There's many things. I would love to continue talking with you. I, if you guys want to follow me or get my information, Trisha, if you want to share my email with all of them, I'm gonna write it here. I'm always open to receive questions and meet and working group. If you need my help, I'll help you. I work girls like how to project on camera. Like we went to a coffee place and we started actually working, and I love to take the time to do that. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm going to put it here as well, where I share some of the stuff that I do and some stuff that I've done. Because if I continue talking, I'm gonna stay here for the rest of the day and I don't want you to entertain you more. So there it is. Carolina Vela TV. You can find me everywhere. I'm more active on Instagram.